It's about time someone won the NXT title on a What Happened on My Universe mode previous special! It's NXT Takeover, and we're in Los Angeles. We're opening with the NXT title tournament semi-finals, so it's Finn Balor versus William Regal for a place in the final. Despite this being a semi-final, it was not a completely even match. About 70% of the offense was from Finn Balor. Doesn't mean William Regal didn't get some hits in, and when he did, he meant it completely. Despite Regal hitting some pretty devastating moves, such as this German suplex, Balor was in no mood to stay down, and he'd wriggle under the bottom rope, and keep Regal outside so he could do a tope over the top rope. Back in the ring, Regal would once again get the advantage, but then once again, Balor would get a reversal and take Regal down with this head scissor takedown. He'd then hit his falling dropkick, one of his signature maneuvers. Regal gained the advantage once again and hit a Northern Light suplex for a near fall. He then hit a series of big maneuvers, culminating with the power of the punch. It wasn't enough to keep Balor down though. A springboard dropkick and then the diving double foot stomp put Balor into the final to take on the winner of our next match, Sami Zayn versus Adrian Neville. Now this semi-final was 20 times more open than the other one, and it was far more athletic as old man Regal wasn't there hampering things, although Regal did hit a pretty sweet dropkick. Now Regal may have hit a pretty sweet dropkick, but Neville missed an Ascension moonsault, which led to him taking 2 flying head scissors from Sami Zayn. Zayn wasn't in control for too long though, as Neville would counter and then hit a snap suplex and a random takedown. But Neville wasn't in control for too long either, as Sami Zayn was able to hit a Northern Light suplex. The men would counter and then hit big moves constantly for the rest of the match, it would seem. We thought it was the end when Sami Zayn hit the Blue Thunderbomb for a 2 count. Then Adrian Neville came pretty close as well with a reverse Hurricane Rana. The match would end finally when Adrian Neville hit a reverse 450 to take the pinfall victory. So it will be Adrian Neville taking on Finn Balor for the NXT title in tonight's main event. But first, Titus ONeil and Tyson Kidd take on the Ascension in their debut. Now Titus ONeil has been beating everyone he's been against. Spider-Man, Captain America, Trevor from GTA 5. It does leave the question, how will Titus and his buddy Tyson fare against these debuting beasts, the Ascension? It was the Ascension in the driving seat for the beginning of the match, but once the smaller guys tagged in, it began to open up a bit more. Victor did have a chunk of advantage once they started battling, but when Tyson Kidd got a counter, Victor had to contend with both men and double team moves. Titus ONeil's cockiness from winning his previous matches began to show when he was left in the ring alone with Victor, and he systematically tried to destroy him. Eventually though, Victor would counter and tag into the much bigger man, Connor. Connor would then ragdoll Tyson Kidd. Titus ONeil was having none of it though, and came back in the ring to show some dominance over the big man. His dominance however meant nothing, as Connor countered, hit a full Nelson slam, and then tagged into Victor so they could hit the Fall of Man. Titus ONeil finally loses a match, and the Ascension win on their debut. In our next match, Hardcore Champion Rusev defended his title against Kevin Steen in an Extreme Rules match, and Rusev began the match like he ended the tables match on the previous edition of NXT, In Charge. Now despite hitting a few pot shots here and there, the first bit of offense Kevin Steen hit was a DDT after he then smashed a few times with a sledgehammer. It wasn't much though, as Rusev continued his beatdown. The comeback was on however, and once Rusev had been put down by Steen, Steen took the sledgehammer to Rusev himself and then got a table out. Putting Rusev down with the table, he laid him onto the table and then hit this. The match was all Steen after that, chair shots and then throwing him into the guardrail. This was when Rusev would get a counter himself and throw Steen into the corner post. Back in the ring, Rusev hit a knee to the gut, but that was it. Kevin Steen hit a neckbreaker on an F5 before hitting a match-ending package pile driver. Boom. To win the hardcore title for the first time. Next, another rematch from the last edition of NXT as Visser took on Corey Graves in another Falls Count Anywhere match. We had another fairly open match here, with neither man getting any real advantage at all during the match. Corey Graves tried to work on Visser's leg, but it was no use, as the brute strength of Visser would normally win out over his technical prowess. Weapons got involved when they went to the outside, and Corey Graves gained a bit of advantage with the ladder. That advantage was wiped out though when Visser got to the ladder before he did when he put it in the ring. Visser would hit a powerbomb, but it wasn't enough, as Corey Graves drop kicked his knee and then drop kicked him as he went on the ladder back outside the ring, and Visser was in charge again. And then Corey Graves was in charge again. It was all over the place. When Corey got a near fall, it was enough to enrage Visser to hit a spear and get his own near fall. The two men brawled on the outside for a while, with both men getting some proper shots in. However, once they were back in the ring, everything began to come up Corey Graves. We thought it was over when he hit that spin kick for a 2 count, but Visser then countered the next move and hit the Shizer Bomb for the 1, 2, 3. Post-match, Corey Graves wasn't happy and went to get himself some seconds. Visser though was ready for him and threw him out the ring before celebrating some more. In the penultimate match of the evening, Finlay took on his longtime rival Bam Bam Bigelow in an Extreme Rules match. And at the beginning, as much as he tried, he couldn't get Bam Bam down until he hit that drop kick. After a stomp, he then ate a Samoan drop. After both men hit a couple more moves, the match descended into a bit of a brawl. Bam Bam sent Finlay to the outside with a counter before suplexing him back into the ring. Following that, a table got involved, but it wasn't enough for Finlay as Bam Bam took him apart with a slam and then a brainbuster. He hit a clothesline after that, which almost put Finlay through the table. Back in the ring, Finlay tried to relieve the pressure, but it wasn't enough, despite him setting the table up. Another counter sent Bam Bam to the outside, and he hit a rolling senton before setting the table alight. But while he was focusing on that, Bam Bam grabbed him and hit the Greetings from Asbury Park for the 3 count. And afterwards, and after the fire had been put out, Bam Bam got a few more hits in to show who's boss. The fireworks were being set off for main event time as Finn Balor took on Adrian Neville to decide the first NXT champion since I unlocked it all that time ago. And as the match began, both men came in all guns blazing, hitting big moves as soon as the bell rang. It was Adrian Neville that took the initial advantage, as when Finn Balor countered his latest move, he went to go to the top rope, but Adrian Neville knocked him off to the outside. On the outside, neither man was holding back, but neither man was hitting many moves either, as there was plenty of counters. Balor got the advantage back in the ring with a springboard dropkick. He then hit a blue thunderbomb. However, it was short-lived as Adrian Neville followed that up by beating him into the corner and hitting a cool flip followed by an enziguri. A 450 would get a near fall. After this little back and forth, the match became a bit of a striking contest with drop kicks and knees flying everywhere. Neville got his own one, but it wasn't much when Balor got to the top rope and hit a massive drop kick. Despite being kneed in the head, Neville was able to get the advantage with a suplex and a kick to the back. He then went for a springboard 450, which he missed, but before Balor could counter, Adrian Neville hit a Northern Light suplex for a near fall. Balor fought back and hit his falling drop kick, but was then countered again, and Adrian Neville almost won the match with this flippy thing. Just look how close that was to hitting 3. Balor rolled to the outside and began the ending sequence to the match. A kick and a dive, and Balor threw Neville into the corner, which knocked him for 6. He then hit the brainbuster to go for the 1, 2, free, and Finn Balor was your new NXT champion. Hope you enjoyed. Tune in next time for What Happened on My Universe Mode. Like and subscribe.